Genius or madman? Visionary or villain? For over 2 decades, one name has dominated music, fashion, and controversy, leaving a trail of platinum albums and scorched earth interviews in his wake. That name is Kanye West. But how did we get here? How did the backpack wearing producer from Chicago, the one who broke the mold with the college dropout, become one of the most polarizing figures of the 21st century? This isn't just a story about music. This is a story about ambition, grief, and the razor thin line between brilliance and breakdown. It all started with a sound nobody else was making. In the early 2000s, hip hop was dominated by gangster rap. Then came Kanye, the guy in the pink polo rapping about his insecurities, his faith, and his drive. He wasn't supposed to be a rapper. The industry saw him as a producer, a beatmaker for stars like Jay-Z. But Kanye saw himself as the star. His self-belief was so absolute, it was almost delusional. Then came the car crash, a near-fatal accident that left his jaw wired shut. For anyone else, this would be a pause. For Kanye, it was an opportunity. He walked out of the hospital and recorded Through the Wire, a masterpiece of defiance, mumbled through a shattered jaw. The world had no choice but to listen. The College Dropout wasn't just an album, it was a revolution. He became a global superstar. Album after album, he pushed boundaries, from the stadium-sized anthems of Graduation to the orchestral genius of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, an album many still call one of the greatest of all time. He was on top of the world, but the higher you climb, the further you have to fall. The first crack in the armor appeared in 2007, the sudden, tragic death of his mother, Donda West. She wasn't just his mom, she was his anchor, his biggest supporter. The loss was immeasurable, and it sent him into a spiral. His next album, 808s and Heartbreak, was a howl of pain. Auto-tuned, minimalist, and soaked in grief, it was rejected by many at first. But today, you can hear its influence in the DNA of almost every modern rap and R&B artist. He turned his deepest pain into a new sound, but the grief was a shadow he couldn't outrun. Just 2 years later at the MTV VMAs came the moment that would change everything. A young Taylor Swift is on stage accepting an award, and then Kanye is there. He grabs the mic. Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. But Beyoncé had one of the best videos of all time. The world turned on him. He wasn't just arrogant anymore, he was a bully. The backlash was immense. He was called a monster, a racist, a spoiled brat. He fled the country, hiding out in Japan and Rome, convinced his career was over. This was the beginning of a new pattern. Create a masterpiece, then publicly self-destruct. From this exile, he created My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, an album that was a grand apology and a defiant middle finger all at once. He had won back the critics. But something had permanently shifted. The line between Kanye the artist and Kanye the provocateur began to blur. Then came Yeezus, a blast of industrial noise and fury. Then The Life of Pablo, an album he edited and updated in real time. He was breaking all the rules, but his public statements were becoming more and more erratic. The infamous TMZ interview where he claimed slavery was a choice. His vocal support for Donald Trump and the MAGA hat that alienated millions of his fans. The rants on stage, the canceled tours, the public battles with his family. With every controversial statement, with every unhinged tweet, the question got louder. Are we watching a genius at work, or a man unraveling in front of our very eyes? His diagnosis with bipolar disorder offered a clinical explanation, but it didn't calm the storm. If anything, it made it more complicated. Is it the illness talking, or is it Kanye? And is it our place to even ask? Today, the story of Kanye West is a tangled web of art, faith, family drama, and political chaos. He's a billionaire fashion mogul who posts bizarre, rambling messages on Instagram. He creates gospel albums and hosts stadium-sized listening parties that feel more like performance art than concerts. He is a walking, talking, breathing contradiction. Perhaps the tragedy of Kanye West is that the very thing that made him a genius, his relentless, filterless, unapologetic self-belief, is the same thing that fuels his self-destruction. He gave us the soundtrack to our lives for a decade, and in return, we got a front row seat to his downfall. The final chapter of his story is yet to be written, but one thing is for sure, we'll all be watching.